In a world where coins are countless and collectors search endlessly for treasures, 3 Eisenhower dollars rise above them all. Ordinary at first glance, yet hiding secrets that can turn a simple collection into unimaginable wealth. Minted in moments that few remember, surviving decades of circulation, these coins carry the weight of history and the thrill of rarity. Some are silver strikes, shimmering with a brilliance that time cannot dim. Others are minting errors, so rare that experts around the world can only marvel at their existence. Each coin has a story, of ambition, of artistry, of chance, and the fortune that waits for the one who dares to find it. Imagine discovering a coin in your own drawer, overlooked for years, suddenly revealed to be worth thousands. The top 3 most valuable Eisenhower dollars are not just coins. They are keys to history, keys to legacy, and keys to a collector's ultimate dream. Every glance, every strike, every detail could mean the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. Are you ready to uncover them? Are you ready to step into a world where every coin has a secret, and every secret could change your life forever? The story of the 1976 bicentennial Eisenhower dollar begins with a remarkable moment in American history, a moment when the entire nation was preparing to celebrate 200 years of independence, and when the United States Mint was given the extraordinary task of creating special coinage that would honor the bicentennial in a memorable way. The Eisenhower dollar already existed in circulation since 1971, but for the bicentennial celebration, the coin was redesigned into one of the most iconic issues ever produced, and it became a powerful symbol of national pride. This dollar would carry a new dual date, 1776-1976, instead of the usual single year, and it would feature a completely new reverse design representing the historic spirit of the nation and its journey across 2 centuries. The origins of the bicentennial Eisenhower dollar can be traced to 1973, when Congress authorized the Mint to begin preparing commemorative designs for the upcoming 200th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. The Treasury Department wanted coins that would circulate widely and remind Americans everywhere of the meaning of the bicentennial. Instead of creating special collector medals or limited editions, the goal was to place history directly into everyday commerce, allowing millions of people to hold a piece of the celebration in their hands. The designs for the bicentennial coins, the quarter, the half-dollar, and the dollar were chosen through a national design competition. Artists from across the country submitted hundreds of ideas, and from those entries, 3 winners were selected, 1 for each denomination. For the Eisenhower dollar, the winning design was created by Dennis R. Williams, a young art student whose concept captured the adventurous spirit of the nation. He chose to depict the Apollo 11 insignia, featuring an eagle landing on the moon. But he added a dramatic image of the Liberty Bell floating in the foreground, symbolizing the connection between America's past and its future. The design blended the achievements of the American Revolution with the triumphs of modern space exploration, reflecting the nation's journey from independence to innovation. It was a bold choice, and although some critics debated the mixing of historical themes, the public responded with great enthusiasm, and the design became one of the most recognizable in U.S. coinage. In early 1975, the Mint began producing the 1776-1976 Eisenhower dollars, even though they were intended for release throughout the entire bicentennial period. The Philadelphia and Denver Mints struck circulation coins made of copper-nickel clad, while the San Francisco Mint produced special collector versions, including both uncirculated and proof coins in a 40% silver composition. These silver issues became especially popular with collectors because they offered a precious metal version of the bicentennial design, and their quality was notably higher than the regular circulation strikes. The silver sets were packaged in attractive government holders and sold directly to the public, adding a sense of prestige to the bicentennial celebration. The production of the bicentennial Eisenhower dollar quickly grew into one of the most substantial minting operations of the 1970s. Millions of coins were struck and moved into distribution channels in preparation for the enormous demand expected during the anniversary year. The mint promoted the coins, heavily encouraging Americans to save them as souvenirs, and many did. However, despite the high production numbers, relatively few circulated widely because so many people chose to keep them rather than spend them. As a result, the bicentennial Ike dollar became one of the most hoarded coins of modern times, but this widespread saving ensured that many examples survived in excellent condition for future collectors. The release of the bicentennial Eisenhower dollar coincided with a nationwide wave of patriotic events, parades, historical reenactments, speeches, museum exhibitions, and cultural programs from coast to coast. Americans could find bicentennial decorations in nearly every store and community, and the special coinage played an important role in reinforcing the celebratory atmosphere. Television commercials, magazines, and newspapers highlighted the unique dual date and the symbolic reverse design, and the Ike dollar often appeared as a central image in bicentennial-themed advertising. Even banks joined the excitement by offering new rolls of bicentennial dollars directly to customers who wanted fresh mint-state examples. The Eisenhower dollar itself already carried deep meaning before the bicentennial transformation. The obverse of the coin still featured the portrait of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, the Supreme, Allied commander of World War II and later the 34th President of the United States. His leadership during the war and his vision for the post-war world made him a figure associated with strength, unity, and stability. Having his image on a bicentennial coin added another layer of symbolism, reminding Americans of the sacrifices and achievements that shaped the nation across generations. One of the most fascinating aspects of the bicentennial Ike dollar is the role it played in marking the end of an era in American coinage. These coins were the last large-size circulating dollars produced by the United States before the switch to smaller dollars beginning with the Susan B. Anthony series in 1979. The Eisenhower dollar was already considered bulky and inconvenient for daily use, and many Americans preferred paper dollar bills or smaller change. As a result, the bicentennial issues served as the grand finale for the large dollar coin tradition, a tradition that stretched back to the silver dollars of the 18th and 19th centuries. Once the bicentennial celebration concluded and the nation moved toward new coinage, the Ike dollar became an enduring reminder of the transition. Collectors today have great interest in the 1776-1976 Eisenhower dollar because it offers a variety of collectible forms, from circulation strikes to silver proofs to high-grade examples certified by grading services. The most sought-after pieces include the San Francisco 40% silver-proof coins, which display deep mirror surfaces and exceptional detail thanks to specialized polishing and striking techniques. Another high-interest area is the identification of striking varieties, such as differences in the lettering, the strength of the Liberty Bell lines, or minor adjustments that occurred during production. These small details allow modern numismatists to distinguish between types and to build specialized collections that highlight the evolution of the coin throughout its minting period. The bicentennial Ike dollar also has cultural importance beyond numismatics. It represents a moment in American history when the country was reflecting on its origins while also looking toward the future. The inclusion of the moon mission emblem acknowledges one of the greatest accomplishments of modern America, linking the founding ideals of liberty and independence with technological progress and exploration. The coin carries a message that the American story is not only about the past but also about what lies ahead, and this forward-looking theme helped the bicentennial celebration resonate with younger generations at the time. During the bicentennial, many Americans used the Eisenhower dollar as a keepsake, giving it as a gift to children, or saving it as a reminder of 1976. Families stored the coins in albums, jars, and display cases, treasuring them as personal tokens of national pride. Even today, discovering a bicentennial Ike dollar in an old drawer or coin jar can evoke memories of that unique year and the patriotic spirit that filled the country. Some banks and businesses even created special promotional campaigns, distributing the coins to customers as part of local celebrations, further reinforcing their role in the year's festivities. The story of the 1978 Eisenhower dollar begins in the final chapter of America's last large-sized circulating dollar coin and marks the end of a short but historically rich series that spanned the early to late 70s. This coin represents the last year the United States Mint issued the Eisenhower dollar before transitioning to the smaller Susan B. Anthony dollar. And because of that, the 1978 issue stands as a closing moment in United States numismatic history and a reflection of the changing economic and cultural landscape of the nation during the period. To understand the place of the 1978 Eisenhower dollar in American coinage, we must revisit the early 70s when the Mint sought to honor President Dwight D. Eisenhower and commemorate the achievements of the Apollo 11 mission. Congress authorized the coin in 1970, marking the first time a circulating dollar coin had been produced since the peace dollar era ended in 1935, and by 1971, the Eisenhower dollar entered circulation with a large copper nickel-clad format that resembled older silver dollars in size, but not in metallic content. This decision had both practical and cultural implications, since the coin's size made it appealing for casinos, vending machines, and collectors, but less convenient for everyday transactions. By the time the 1978 Eisenhower dollar was minted, the series had already become a familiar presence in American commerce. But its usage among the general public remained limited. The coin was heavy, large, and difficult to carry, and most people preferred paper currency, which circulated more easily as inflation rose during the decade. The cost-effectiveness of producing such a large coin came under increased scrutiny, and this growing concern played a central role in the decision to end the Eisenhower dollar series after 1978. Production of the 1978 Eisenhower dollar took place at two facilities, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. The Philadelphia issues carried no mint mark, and the Denver coins were marked with a D. Both were made of the regular copper nickel-clad composition used for circulating coins. And unlike some earlier years in the series, no 40% silver collectible versions were struck in 1978 because the United States Mint had discontinued those in 1976. The focus in 1978 was strictly on producing coins for everyday use and preparing for the upcoming introduction of the smaller dollar coin. The design of the 1978 Eisenhower dollar continued the familiar portrait created by chief engraver Frank Gasparo on the obverse President Dwight D. Eisenhower is depicted in a realistic right-facing profile that conveys strength, experience, and leadership. This design had become iconic and was appreciated by many collectors for its clean, sculpted appearance on the reverse. The coin features the powerful image of an American eagle landing on the lunar surface, a design based on the Apollo 11 mission insignia, symbolizing the unity of the nation's technological achievements and its commitment to exploration, innovation, and progress by 1978. This design had acquired symbolic weight because it represented not only the space mission, but also the hopes and ambitions of the 70s, a transitional decade marked by both challenge and discovery. The mintage numbers for the 1978 Eisenhower dollar show that it was produced in significant quantities. Philadelphia struck tens of millions of pieces, and Denver minted an even larger number, making the 1978 dollar one of the more common issues in the series. However, because it represents the final year of production, collectors place special interest on high-grade examples. Coins with exceptional luster, sharp strikes, and minimal contact marks are noticeably harder to find, especially those graded in the highest mint state ranges, since large clad coins often picked up bag marks during handling and transport in mint facilities. The 1978 Eisenhower dollar also reflects important economic and political pressures of the time. The 70s were marked by rising production costs, fuel crises, new monetary policies, and attempts to improve the efficiency of American commerce, the federal government realized that the public had not widely adopted the large Eisenhower dollar, and that a smaller coin might perform better in circulation. Early discussions about replacing the Eisenhower dollar had already begun by 1976, and by 1978, these plans were nearly complete, preparing the way for the Susan B. Anthony dollar that would debut in 1979. This transition represented a major shift in U.S. coinage philosophy, moving away from traditional large dollars and toward modern compact designs meant to be more practical and cost-effective. In the world of numismatics, the 1978 issue carries particular importance because it is accessible for collectors, but historically significant as an end of an era. It offers one of the last opportunities to acquire a fresh, well-struck large dollar coin from circulation before the series was retired. Collectors also value the year for its place in the evolution of American currency, as it stands between the classic silver era of earlier decades and the modern clad era that continues today. The coin serves as a final example of the large format dollar that had defined U.S. coinage for generations. Another notable aspect of the 1978 Eisenhower dollar is the subtle design details that specialists study for variety identification. While the 1978 issue is not as famous for major varieties as some earlier years, minor differences in strike-quality die wear and surface texture still provide points of interest for advanced collectors and researchers. The study of Ike dollars, as they are affectionately known, has grown significantly in the past 2 decades as numismatists have come to appreciate the series' historical importance and the technical challenges of minting such large clad coins consistently across different years and mints. The cultural presence of the 1978 Eisenhower dollar should also be noted. Even though the coin saw limited use in daily transactions, it was widely used in casinos, particularly in Nevada, where slot machines and gambling halls relied heavily on dollar coins. Well into the late 70s and early 80s, these coins became part of the atmosphere of entertainment travel and leisure in America. During the era, many people who never handled the coin in everyday purchases still encountered it in casinos, airports, and tourist destinations, creating a unique connection between the Eisenhower dollar and American pop culture. As the final year of the series, the 1978 Eisenhower dollar also represents a symbolic farewell to a certain aesthetic of American coinage: the large, bold design, the space-age symbolism, and the tribute to a World War II general turned president combine to form a uniquely American narrative. The coin captures a moment when the nation honored its past achievements while preparing for a new direction in economy, technology, and daily life. This coin carries the weight of remembrance and the momentum of transition, and that dual character is what makes the 1978 issue so compelling for long-form historical storytelling. In the broader context of United States coinage, the end of the Eisenhower dollar series marked a turning point that would influence minting decisions for decades, with the smaller dollar coins that followed. The mint pursued new goals, including improving circulation efficiency, saving production costs, and adapting to a modern economic environment where paper currency and credit systems dominated. The legacy of the 1978 coin therefore extends beyond its surface. It stands as a marker of change in U.S. monetary philosophy and a reminder of the complex balance between tradition, innovation, and public acceptance. By the end of the 70s, the Eisenhower dollar had already earned a permanent place in American history, both as a commemorative coin and as a circulating piece that reflected national pride in the Apollo program and respect for President Eisenhower's contributions. The Eisenhower dollar coin of 1972 stands as one of the most fascinating chapters in modern American numismatics, a coin born from national pride, technological transition, and the evolving demands of commerce in the early 1970s. To understand the story of the 1972 Eisenhower dollar, one must begin with the legacy of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, the end of the Silver Era, and the monumental task faced by the United States Mint, when creating the first large-size $1 coin of the modern age. The nation had not seen a circulating dollar coin since the peace dollar ended in 1935, and for decades Americans relied instead on paper currency vending tokens and half-dollar coins. The passing of Eisenhower in 1969, together with the excitement surrounding the Apollo 11 moon landing, inspired Congress to honor both the former president and the achievements in space exploration with a new coin bearing his image and an eagle landing on the lunar surface. The Coinage Act of 1970 authorized the Eisenhower dollar to be struck in both copper-nickel-clad versions for circulation and silver-clad versions for collectors, marking the first time a commemorative design would be issued as a standard circulating coin. The year 1972 became one of the most important and complex years for the Eisenhower dollar series. With no mint mark for Philadelphia issues and a variety of subtle yet critical design differences, the 1972 dollar quickly gained a reputation for having some of the most challenging and interesting varieties in modern American coinage. The Mint was still perfecting the engraving of the Earth behind the landing eagle, and adjustments were made during the year, resulting in 3 major reverse types. Each type captures a moment in the Mint's struggle to balance artistic detail and practical die life. Type 1 featured a low-relief Earth with incorrect geographic placement of the Caribbean. Type 2 had a sharper globe and correct placement, but this version was produced only for a short period, making it extremely rare. Type 3 introduced a refined Earth with clearer continents and became the standard for the remainder of the year. Collectors of the Eisenhower series consider these varieties essential study points, and the 1972 Type 2 Reverse is one of the most sought-after clad dollars of the entire decade. As the coin entered circulation, it also became clear that the large size of the Eisenhower dollar was both a strength and a challenge. Weighing over 22 grams and measuring 38 millimeters, the coin was impressive in appearance yet awkward for daily use. Businesses, vending machine operators, and the general public rarely favored heavy coins, and most people chose paper dollars instead. As a result, the 1972 Eisenhower dollars circulated unevenly, with many ending up stored in bank vaults, while others suffered heavy wear in limited regions. Despite these obstacles, the coin remained a symbol of American heritage, merging presidential history with the triumphs of the space program. The depiction of the moon landing on the reverse continued to capture public imagination, reminding Americans of an era of innovation, exploration, and national pride. Behind the scenes, the Mint faced enormous technical challenges throughout the production of the 1972 Eisenhower dollar. The copper-nickel-clad composition was still relatively new and striking. Such a large coin in clad metal created problems involving die-wear, planche quality, and pressure tolerances. Engraver Frank Gasparo worked continuously to refine the details of Eisenhower's portrait, ensuring that it remained recognizable even with the wear of circulation. Meanwhile, adjustments to the reverse designs required the Mint to produce multiple master dies, a rare event in modern coin production. The resulting varieties not only reflect the technical evolution of the year, but also provide a historical record of the Mint's attempts to perfect a national icon. These coins represent both the imperfections and the progress of American numismatic craftsmanship. Collectors today regard the 1972 Eisenhower dollar as a cornerstone of the series thanks to its abundance of varieties, minting complexities, and its representation of a turning point in the history of U.S. coinage. The 1970s marked the end of the large, heavy circulating dollar coin, and the 1972 issues show the tension between national symbolism and practical currency usage. The Philadelphia strikes remain the heart of the variety study, while the Denver and San Francisco issues reflect the Mint's efforts to satisfy both collectors and circulation needs. The silver-clad San Francisco strikes were especially prized by hobbyists for their special finishes and their connection to the commemorative spirit of the program. The legacy of the 1972 Eisenhower dollar extends far beyond its production year. It shaped the future of the American dollar coin, leading toward later experiments such as the smaller Susan B. Anthony and Sacagawea dollars. It also preserved a moment in American history, capturing a hero of World War II and the space race on a single piece of metal. For collectors, storytellers, and historians, the 1972 Eisenhower dollar remains a living timeline of artistry, engineering, politics, and national spirit. Its varieties showcase the human element of coin production. Its circulation, history reveals the habit of an entire generation, and its symbolism connects the leadership of the past with the aspirations of the future. The Eisenhower dollar may not have achieved widespread everyday use, but its impact on American numismatics and historical memory is lasting, powerful, and deeply meaningful. The deeper story of the 1972 Eisenhower dollar begins long before the coin was ever struck, reaching back into the economic and political climate of the United States during the late 1960s, when the nation faced turbulent transitions in currency, metal values, and public trust. The removal of silver from circulating coins in 1965 had shaken long-held traditions, and many Americans felt uncertain about the changing nature of their money. The Eisenhower dollar was introduced at a moment when the country sought stability, familiarity, and symbolic leadership. Dwight D. Eisenhower had been a reassuring figure to millions, both as the Supreme Allied Commander in World War II and later as president guiding the nation through an era of post-war expansion. During his presidency, he expanded the interstate highway system, strengthened national defense, and oversaw tremendous technological advancements, including the birth of NASA. His passing in 1969 created a unified desire to honor him, and when the Apollo 11 mission successfully landed astronauts on the moon. That same year, the connection between Eisenhower's era and the space age became irresistibly clear. As Congress debated the creation of a new dollar coin, lawmakers faced strong disagreements over what the coin should represent and what metals it should contain. Silver-producing states pushed for a return to silver circulating coinage, hoping it would support mining economies, while others preferred the modern copper-nickel-clad composition that had become standard after 1965. Eventually, the compromise was reached. The circulating Eisenhower dollars would be clad with no silver, while special collector issues would be minted in a silver-clad alloy. This decision allowed the coin to honor Eisenhower and the Apollo program while keeping costs low for mass production. The design journey then began with chief engraver Frank Gasparo choosing to portray Eisenhower with dignity, strength, and a calm expression on the obverse, a look meant to reflect both his military leadership and presidential legacy. For the reverse, Gasparo adapted the Apollo 11 mission patch, showing an eagle landing on the moon, symbolizing peace and human achievement.